and let us all do we can to build a better future.
This has to deal with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, I was sharing this with Daniel and the rest of the team here about what is happening, and apparently she is getting a lot of blowback from a lot of her critics in regards to the horrifying situation that's at the border.
Well, hey, Kit, you shouldn't say horrifying at the border when it's Biden doing it. That's her words. Right?
We'll see. Well, here's the issue. Again, for a quick reminder for everyone that is watching us, the whole situation at the border, those cages, those facilities, they were built under a Democratic presidential administration. In fact, a lot of these neoliberal policies were happening under Democratic and Republican presidential policies. And I, for one, find it insulting that when one administration gets in power, everyone starts saying, well, my team is doing better, so it's going to be good. But when the other team does it, it'll be bad. And this is not the kind of politics that we need right now. But if you don't believe me, check out these links right here. Let's play that first video phase. This is Breandre Gray actually found this or tweeted this out. And this is a video from The Hill. Let's go ahead and play this video in its full entirety. And then we got a second video as well.
Is that the fact that this keeps happening over and over and over again is a political failure by both parties. And I want to be very clear about that, because I don't want to draw false equivalence. What is happening here is not the same as what happened during the Trump administration, where they took babies out of the arms of their mothers and deported their families and permanently traumatized these children, some of whom we don't know will ever be reunified with their family again, which is a level of human rights violation that is just simply not the same. Both of these things are barbaric and they're wrong. But when you rip a baby out of the hands of a mother, you cannot draw the same comparison. And anyone who is trying to do that is doing a profound disservice to the cause of justice. So I don't want to excuse any of this.
But I want to excuse some of it.
I don't think we should also get them twisted together.
They're one and the same, unfortunately.
One is not the same.
Yes, they are.
And
they are the same.
Dust that under the rug. And by the way, those families are owed reparations. Period.
Oh yeah, and AOC just put out her reparations bill. Oh wait, no, she didn't. Hey, these are different things. They're entirely different. They're the same. They're made of paper. They have work. They're very different. They have one's in my left hand. One's in my right hand. Very different, guys. Very different. If you say that these two things are the same, you're a terrible person. You really are a terrible person. But we have to understand that they're very similar.
Okay.
What's she saying?
No, hold on. I want to go on this a little bit further, because here's the thing. AOC, they are the same. It's that stuff that a month ago that was still going on, where kids were still being separated from their parents. Each facility is different. I mean, remember, it wasn't too long ago where the Biden administration was saying that the press was not allowed to go inside these facilities. And look, I understand under a Trump administration, it was far, far worse. But the very fact that one of the architects to those facilities that we're seeing south at the border, remember, Biden was Obama's vice president. Those facilities were built under the Obama administration. A lot of these heavy deportation policies that we're seeing were implemented under the Obama administration and were carried on under the Trump administration, and for some reason still being carried on under the Biden administration. It's all one and the same. And the very fact that AOC is saying, well, hold on, wait, they're not the same. They are the same. And there's another video where she goes into a little bit more detail about why we're getting this refugee crisis. But Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the Biden administration deserves heavy criticism because he has been in politics for 40 plus years, just like Nancy Pelosi, just like Chuck Schumer. And I know we get a lot of pushback from a lot of people saying, why are you so hard on leftist politicians? Why are you so hard on Democratic politicians? Because it should be a slam freaking dunk to actually do the right thing against the GOP. I know how bad Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell is. I know how bad Lindsey Graham Cracker is. I know how bad all the Republican House representatives are. And I know how bad Donald Trump is. I know it. At least when they give me the middle finger, I know they're honest. They're not smiling or pretending to tell me something that they actually care about me or they care about any kind of progressive policies, because they don't. They don't give a damn. They're up front with it. But with these Democratic neoliberal lawmakers, and I guess now they're progressive allies, they're saying we could do some things, we can't do all things, but please don't be critical of us. Please don't be mean to us. Please don't call us out on the fact that we actually ran under these policies under the Trump administration. Those kids in cages right now, what we're seeing at the south of the border is a long-term crisis of U.S. foreign policy in South America and Central America, as well as the dumb, stupid, idiotic war on drugs. Let's pull up this next video.
Really quick, I just want to ask, do you think, how do you think AOC got into that video? Because I'm pretty sure she was asked to. Did Mama Bear go, you connect with the kids? You tell them what's happening. They're just throwing her under the bus over and over again. And at this point, she seems willing to fall down.
FaZe, that's I want you to pull up this. There's a second Twitter link video. That's the third one. There we go. That one. Now let's play that one.
Which people are saying, and we have to address that term because it is wrong. And people are pushing back, when we talk about this. And when they say that, the reason why we shouldn't use that term is because this is not an invasion. And in fact, when you want to talk about that, we should be owning the fact that U.S. foreign policy has contributed to the destabilization of these regions and of the very countries that are now mired in a lot of violence that these families and these children are fleeing. So we cannot use that term, not to police it, not to be politically correct, but because we know what the level and the steps of
the double speak is strong with this one.
Lead to. We just experienced this last year. And I'm not going to allow the Stephen Millers of the world to pretend that he didn't do what he did.
Well, actually,
and to act like this is the same.
Before you go, I just want to pause real quick.
Pause it real quick.
I just want to point out to AOC, by your own logic, we're allowed to say it. If your entire point is that only Republicans are making this point, that's a really dumb point to make, because we're independents and there's a lot of Democrats out there also making this point. So stop pretending that the only person across the aisle making the point we're making are really terrible Republicans.
Right.
It's also regular people.
There's another thing, too, I want to address. Stephen Miller is no longer a factor. Here's the real architect, and some of these Democratic and, yes, Republican lawmakers that helped create those facilities. AOC, you ran a powerful campaign in 2018, and when you got elected into office, you took out Crowley. You took out Nancy Pelosi's groom successor, or at least who knows how these backroom politics deals are done. But you took out a neoliberal heavyweight. And when you got into that office, that meant something to a lot of people. All of us here. Now, understand this. The reason why you're getting a lot of criticism is because you're not facing off against the people that helped create this system. And that is Nancy Pelosi, Chucky Boy Schumer, Lindsey Graham Cracker, Turtle Boy Mitch, and good old Joe 30330. It's a fact. There's no debate about it. There's no conversation about it. And that means you got to fight them. You got to get angry and push back and call them out. They are not your allies. And if you are trying to make them seem like they are our allies or that somehow they have a brand new leaf, we still have an ongoing problem. The war on drugs and all these coups and all these interventions that we're seeing in South America and Central America are done by previous Democratic and Republican presidential administrations, all with the support of Democratic and Republican U.S. senators and House representatives. It's a two-party system, and you are in it now too. But you got to acknowledge what is wrong, and that is the ruling political establishment that has been implementing these policies and causing this refugee crisis. The reason why people are running here to the United States is because there are drug cartels and civil wars happening in other countries because of U.S. foreign policy. They're running to us because of policies we implement and this dumb, idiotic war on drugs. It's stupid. So call it what it is. And that's why you're getting a lot of pushback, especially from people from the left. And if you can't handle that, then maybe you need to take a step back and realize that how you've been acting so far isn't the same person that we saw in 2018. And I get that people change. And I understand that right now you have to be defensive. But you got to push back. And you can't be shielded forever. And that means you've got to challenge Mama Bear. That means you've got to fight back against some of these House representatives. You know, forced to vote happens. There was an opportunity for you to really step up. And even, I'm willing to go on a limb out here for Cenk Uygur's forced to vote for 15. That was another opportunity. And since then, what? What has happened? Nothing. One-time stimulus check, no $15 minimum wage increase. People are still at risk of being evicted from their houses. Let's play the rest of the video, Faze.
I have been in contact with the Biden administration personally. And what I can tell you that's different about this administration, again, I'm not here to excuse it. I'm not here to say this is good. I'm not here to do anything. But one thing that is different is that they're trying to figure out and they're trying to create the resources to actually end this problem. And the Trump administration was contributing to it. They contributed to it with zero tolerance. They contributed it with the fear. They contributed it with this freaking census question. They contributed to it. So all of this is to say that there's no excuse for this system, that all of it is morally wrong, that it's repugnant, but we
this is terrible and wrong, but it's not our fault.
Change it. And that's really what we need. A deep change on this issue.
Okay, so again, Obama was known as a deporter-in-chief. And Daniel, who was his vice president? Go on a limb out of here. Right? I mean,
Kamala Harris?
No, wrong, buddy.
Sleepy Creepy Uncle Joe?
That's right, Sleepy Creepy Uncle Joe.
So actually what AOC means to say is, I'm acting as a hack and not giving you the full story of the issue, even though the full story of the issue is easy. I'm going to use doublespeak this entire time to simultaneously say two contradictory things. One is, this is terrible, and this is horrible, and it should be stopped, and it's not our fault. We're doing better. You know what the difference is? Under kids in a Joe Biden facility have the enjoyment of plastic cages, which are less environmentally sound, less recyclable, easier to chew on and get plastic in your system. So that makes them better because there's a D in front of them. All those kids are getting Ds and everyone is happy. And the other is that we are barcoding. We're like tattooing numbers on all the kids so we don't lose them. It's much better than the way Trump did it. He didn't tattoo the arms of his kids. AOC is putting herself in front of it's like there's a firing squad happening and they're taking out some terrible prisoner that most people don't like, and AOC is running in between the firing squad. It's like, no, wait, he's slightly different. He killed people, but he killed different people. It's like when cops kill civilians versus when, I don't know, it goes the other way around. All of a sudden, oh, they're both bad. They both shouldn't have killed people, but it's worse when this one happened. That's exactly what AOC is doing. She's trying to double speak. And I feel that inside of her, some part of her knows this is wrong. What she's saying is wrong. What she's doing is wrong because she's not being fluid. She's not talking about it in a seamless way. She's really trying to go, Biden's not bad, but this is really bad. But it's not Biden. It's really... She's stuck between reality and truth and party loyalty. She has sold her soul to the company store, and she has conveniently forgotten. She brings up Trump. It's like, oh, Trump put all these kids in cages. Doesn't bring up who made the cages. Doesn't bring up who was VP when that happened. But in effect, if Biden, so Biden has at this point, even before becoming president, had more time connected to these cages being built, operated, and put together than Trump has. Twice as much. Before even getting in office, after a term, Biden will have 3 times as much input. Biden will represent time spent. 75% of these cages being in effect. The only thing you can say on top of that is going back to Bush, who started the whole program. But no one's even saying that.
No one's acknowledged it, or the fact that, again, we have this ongoing crisis. And, you know, AOC, you know that this is wrong. And I know that there's a lot of people who are fans of Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I get it. I get that there's politicians that you like, but never hero worship these individuals. And we got to remind them that they are public servants. They work for us, not the other way around. The next video I'm going to show you is going to be difficult to watch. It's going to be difficult to sit through. But the press was allowed to see these facilities.
It reminds me literally of when Trump showed the facilities. The exact same.
Again, this video is from NHK.
So I'm just going to say before we play it, just so you guys understand the roll call for the play that we're about to show, all the previous roles held by Republicans are now being held by Democrats. All the roles previously held by Democrats are now being held by Republicans.
Let's play this video.
¿Cuál estás tú?
Yeah. So again, let's play that video again. We can play it again one more time. I'm gonna talk over it, but it's just I'm really disturbed by this. And again, if you could see the underlying subtitles there too, you know, the arrivals and how these facilities are right now being overwhelmed. They're just Washington, D.C., to protest at these politicians' offices and homes. Because what we're seeing there isn't right. And maybe AOC and the squad and those other 15 congressmen and women that are on the force to vote petition need to start actually stepping up and calling for the end of U.S. foreign policy that's causing these crises in South America and Central America, and actually implementing policies that will end the war on drugs. Because that's what's going to stop this huge migration of people. People are fleeing their countries because of the destabilization that we are doing, that the American government is doing to other countries. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of independent media networks that are really hammering it hard on AOC. But she needs to hear this, and maybe her fighting spirit will come back. But the thing is, I'm holding out for hope and constantly getting burnt. What are we living in? What kind of society are we living in where this is okay and now it's okay to defend the people that created this barbaric system in the first place? And again, that quote, it's right now haunting me right now. That's only one facility. There's more. A lot more.
Yeah.